Hello and welcome to DCP SideQuest episode number 77. Lucky number 77, the one we're only going to talk about Cyberpunk 77 for the whole episode.
Whoa!
Wait, is that what we did last episode?
Past two episodes. Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year. Did you guys make any New Year's resolutions? Do you got any thoughts going into the new year? Like ways
just,
to
cut back on doom scrolling.
Yeah. I deleted Twitter off my phone again.
I've actually managed to cut back on social media quite a fair bit over the holiday as well, and even now as well. I've just been I've been filling the voids with just other things, just studying and reading and just trying to make sure I'm actually using my time productively. It's been
making those
well.
fucking six-pack abs that I saw your thumbnail of and saved to my special folder.
Briar's Happy Place. What's the folder?
Trying to slowly one day. I've got to get ready. I've got to get ready for Ragnarok. Speaking of which, I finally I know it's a huge.
You've played Ragnarok. You own it. You finished it. You have a review.
If only. But you know what, right? As somebody that tries to model himself after Kratos, I had not up until this point finished God of War. So this Christmas,
really,
I finished it. Yeah, because I started it and I love the game.
Yeah.
But it was something that happened at the same time, and I with those kind of games, if I don't play it back to back, it just gets left. So
yeah.
Had you gotten?
Did you play it on the PS5?
So here's the thing, and this is where you guys are gonna laugh, right? Because you
played it in a preview window at 30 FPS.
Here's the thing, right? I was gonna play it on the PS5. I downloaded it on the PS5. And then I wanted to sit in my living room and play it, and I couldn't bother to move the PS5, so I got my PS4 out instead and started playing it on that.
I actually completely understand the sentiment.
Yeah, me too.
But you'll be pleased to know that because this one I wanted to play in a more chill manner, it was not with my PC setup, so I didn't play it in a preview window.
Okay.
Huh.
It was good.
Did you notice any difference?
Yeah. Not at all. Not in the slightest.
Wait,
so what'd you think
question
of it?
though. Yeah, actually, hold on.
Hottest news of 2018, but what'd you think of the ending and everything?
Before, did you get the chains before you dropped off, or did you acquire it this time once you picked it back up?
So, so you mean the first time I played it? No, yeah. I never got that far in there. Like the first time I played it, I think I got like 4 or 5 hours into like the first area.
My god,
Elfheim. Yeah.
Was that like a mind-blowing experience? Because it blew my mind when you like picked up the chains after like essentially getting beat down. Was like, I have to use these again. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. No, that was so cool. Definitely. And the fact that because I always thought it would be. Because it's one of those things I tried to avoid spoilers as much as I could, but I had seen people sort of saying at some point, "I'll go back to your house," and I'd seen people post screenshots with the chain. So I was like, "Oh, maybe it's one of those things you get at the end of the game, like just sort of a reward fun
New
thing."
game
and
plus.
then I realized midway through, I'm like, "Oh, this is actually happening."
Yeah.
But I loved it. I loved it because obviously I especially considering because I like Norse mythology. I've been reading like some books recently on like the mythology anyway. I feel like again it's sort of similar thing to when we were talking about Valhalla. I was kind of appreciating it even more so because like some of those subtle nods. The game's been out long enough. We can talk about the end, right? But obviously when they reveal that Atreus is Loki, right? And some people were like, is he actually Loki or is he a different version? But then some of all the nods are really clever because obviously the first time that he learns he's got powers, the first thing he asks is, "Can I change into a wolf?" And obviously Loki is the father of Fenrir. So
naturally, obviously, clearly.
Yeah. And then
Fenrir was my first Smite character that I played.
Gods and stuff.
Fair. And then he's also and then when the snake said to Atreus, he's like, "You look familiar." So Loki is the father of the world serpent as well. So the world serpent, but then the world serpent can travel in time. So then when he saw Atreus, he's like, "You look familiar." It's because it's basically his father.
Oh, wow.
And then also because another nod to him being Loki is because then when Balder punched him, and he punched the mistletoe. So in Norse mythology, Loki kills Balder, but in the game, Atreus enabled him to be killed. So there's loads of real nods to him actually being Loki, and I'm like, oh, yo, this is cool.
That is cool. I had no idea. That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's
Well, I'm gonna have to do another playthrough of that game, and I'll get you in a Skype call so that you can just explain to me all the way through.
A lore crawl.
Sure.
Yeah,
definitely.
I think first time it took me like 30 hours, so it shouldn't take too much time.
Yeah, this one I'll admit because I was torn because I was playing it during Christmas and I was like, I really want to finish it. Like I wanted to sidetrack. Like I did one of the Valkyrie fights. I wanted to do a lot more, and I wanted to pursue some armor. But I was like, I just want to make sure that I at least finish the story. So I fully golden lined it. I did it in about I think 16 hours and stuff. So I missed a lot. I didn't go to like the other realms and stuff. But I was super happy to know that when you finished it, it's like, oh, now you can go and explore. So I do want to go back at some point and like tick off some of that stuff. But yeah, I'm just so glad I finished the story.
Yeah,
I've been meaning to boot that
SideQuest are
game
really
up
good,
on
too.
the PS5 just to see what the enhancements are, because the game already looked unbelievably good. I'm hoping that it, I haven't read to see what the enhancements are for the PS5, but I'm hoping it runs.
It already looked amazing on PS4.
It did, but it ran at about 17 frames per second.
Really? I remember actually being a pretty steady 30.
No.
Huh. Yeah, and then I never remembered it like hiccuping really bad. Maybe a few scenes because obviously like old technology, but I was actually surprised at how good that game looked and ran.
Yeah. Did you play it on Pro or did you play it on
Pro?
Base?
Yeah, Pro. Yeah.
Yeah. They stopped making the Pro. They discontinued the Pro.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Sony's not making the Pro anymore. They're going to continue making the base PS4, which is now the base PS4 is the Slim, right? And it's just going to be the base PS4 and the PS5. To increase their manufacturing capabilities for the PS5, which is appreciated. I mean, I guess it's still super hard to get.
Well. Yeah, I guess it makes sense as well because you kind of like you either buy the lesser PS4, which will make you want a PS5, or you buy the PS5, right? So
and the pricing too. I mean, the PS4 Pro was still selling for $400, right? So it's like that's the same price as a digital version of the PS5. So why wouldn't you just get a PS5?
True.
Like it doesn't make any sense from a product lineup perspective. Unless I can't imagine why you want a PS4 Pro at this point, unless you just wanted one for your collection because you're like it's a fanboy of either Sony or collecting consoles or whatever.
Guys, last weekend or not weekend, but last week we finally got a taste of Monster Hunter Rise.
We did.
So good.
We did.
Briar, did you play it?
I did. Yeah, I played the demo right when it came out. I only did about 4 hunts. But from what I played, I was like, oh, this is like Monster Hunter World on the Switch, but with a cooler aesthetic, I think.
Yeah.
I kind of dug that kind of like Japan aesthetic over the Monster Hunter World aesthetic, which was kind of, I don't know, ambiguously South American, maybe? I don't know. What would you say that was?
I'm not even sure, to be honest. Yeah. It's kind of
I dug the new aesthetic, though, and it runs surprisingly well on a Switch. I was kind of surprised at how good it looks, even playing on a TV. And it was super fun to be able to play on a portable, on the Switch itself, portably. I can't wait for a Switch Pro.
Yeah. Even just the opening, when you see the opening scene and she's singing, and I'm like, oh, this is all so good. I love this already. I'm sold.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
That opening was so
ready.
Cool. I think it come out? The March?
Yeah, March. What was it? 25th? 28th?
26th.
26th. Sorry.
I'm gonna have to schedule my Eric's weapon reviews or my how to use each weapon. So up until then,
I walked away.
I have them planned. I'm just
nice.
I'm scared because it's another epic undertaking, but we'll do it. We'll make them. Yeah.
I walked away from that feeling pretty confident that hunting horn is definitely going to be the main weapon that I'm using.
Why do they call it the hunting horn when it looks like a rock guitar? And that's a cooler name too.
The rock guitar.
Because most of the weapons in that archetype actually look like horns. But it just so happens the one they let us use is a guitar.
It looks like a granite guitar, and it's amazing. Yeah. I don't know how to use it, but I did anyway.
It's so cool.
Yeah, that thing.
Is that a new weapon?
No. All the weapon types are returning ones. They've just made some big changes to it because hunting horn has never been hugely complex to use, but a lot of people have always stumbled with it because you have to. Previously, you'd have to know the songs you're playing. It wouldn't just be in the demo. It's like you either play two of the same note, and that is a song. Whereas before, it might be triangle, circle, triangle plus circle, or something like that, right? And you need to remember it, and then you have to queue up all the notes whilst fighting, and then play the song. So now they've just been like, look, we're going to simplify it. Press the buttons that you want, play the music while you're attacking, and then just forget about the rest of it. So they just made it super streamlined, and it's just like, let's go.
Can you explain to me the mechanic though of the circle? Because the circle fills up, and then there's also the ultimate play. Once you've like played all 3 notes, then you have like an ultimate playback as well, in addition to what you've already been playing.
Basically, it's effectively just giving you options. So you can either make it so that you'll see that when you go into the game, there's a list of 3 songs, which is or 4, like self-improvement, attack up, another one. I can't remember what they are, but basically it's like, so you can either play the same of each note. So you can do XX and it plays it. You can press AA, it plays it, or X plus A, X plus A, it plays it. So you play the songs individually. Alternatively, you can just press one of each button. So X, A, X plus A. You've got 3 notes at the top, and then that's where you press the special recital, which just plays all your songs. So you can in the short term, it's basically giving you a way to either quickly play everything or just play things as you're going. And then the circle that builds up allows you to do a special recital, which basically is like another buff. It's like a damage buff you can effectively do. So that one you just kind of get by being aggressive, and then at the end of playing a song, you just tap ZR, do a little spin, and that gives you something extra. So that's just like a kind of like a super power up kind of thing.
It was awesome. Just
it's a cool weapon.
Mangling.
I really liked how it looked too. Like the game looks like it is a Switch game, right? Like let's not get confused. This isn't Monster Hunter World running on a PlayStation 4 or a PC. But considering it's running on a Switch, I was pretty impressed with how it looked. I really liked how it played. Like it felt responsive and fluid, and I really liked that new what's the name of that, like the grappling hook bug thing?
Wirebug.
Yeah, like that felt like I didn't feel like I was like dropping frames and stuff when like that kind of stuff was happening, like that fast action, like with a big monster on the screen. It seemed like a competent game on a Switch.
Yeah,
it's really good, and it's a lot of the movesets are the same from Monster Hunter World, which for someone using a bow and a sword and shield, like Monster Hunter World did such good things for those weapons. But now you have Wirebug attacks, and you can fly through the sky. So it's and then bow also got a change in that you instead of dropping the rocks down, you drop like a healing kind of light from the sky. So it was very interesting playing bow and then seeing teammates get low and be like, okay, let me put this where they're fighting, or just continuously just trying to have that healing bow attack up, just kind of hovering around where people are fighting.
That's cool.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, I do definitely love the way that it looks, because that's one of the things that this like the Portable team have always been really good at, because this is like World was visually very impressive. Like it was a very nice looking game, but like Monster Hunter has always been known for having like vibrant colors and being over the top, like crazy looking weapons, crazy looking armors. And World went slightly more like realistic, so to speak. Even though it's got giant monsters,
more muted colors.
Yeah, muted colors, and even down to like the weapon designs, they were a lot more. There was a lot of like bolt-on pieces on like iron weapons, whereas now they've just gone back to being this is what Monster Hunter's about, and I'm loving it.
A horn is a rocketar.
Exactly.
I know you guys got like a sponsored stream. Did you guys get the same version of the demo where it was like you could play 30 hunts and then the demo is essentially over? Okay, so I'm a little disappointed that I only get 30 tries at this, because I kind of want to just keep fucking with this thing until the game comes out in March, and then I can actually start grinding it, because I'm just loving the demo. Like I can't wait till this game comes out. March is too far away. I'm sure it'll come fast.
Well, the demo doesn't save anything, right?
I thought it doesn't have a countdown of like how many times you get to play a hunt. Like you get 30 hunts.
Well, yeah, it saves that in there. Yeah. But
then you can just go and delete the save data, and you're okay.
Exactly. I was gonna say. Hey, just swipe the save data, and I'm pretty sure it just resets, because it's not like
cool.
It's not keeping any track of anything in a database or anything.
Well, never mind then. I'm happy now.
What's it called when you control a monster, when you mount it and control it?
Oh, Wyvern riding.
That I was blown away by that. I was not expecting that, because I hadn't really seen a lot of the promotional stuff. Anytime I'm interested in a game, I usually don't watch promotional stuff, because I'm like, I'm gonna play it. I want to be surprised when I first see it. So having that happen for the first time, I was like, what? I'm controlling this beast and it's attacking? That blew me away. I really, really appreciated that.
Yeah, that was... Never did I think we would be in a position where we're actually controlling and riding monsters in a mainline Monster Hunter game. Like, what?
Yeah, that's super cool. However, there's a caveat to it. And with World, I got super used to mounting monsters. Like, I appreciated like the mount buildup that would happen with that. And then they give you the doggo that you get to ride and jump off of. and they took away the mounting, so you can't just like suddenly mount. Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
Yeah, Wyvern riding's like replaced it now. So like you still basically build up like mount damage in a similar way, but now it triggers like this kind of big thing. So yeah, so that definitely has gone.
Yeah,
I guess they kind of had to make the
cool thing is like if you liked the whole clutch claw and smacking monsters into walls, you can still do that through Wyvern riding, because you can just go to a wall and then push them into it. But yeah, the mounting, that's what I love doing on Sword and Shield. I would just constantly go up in the sky and go down and go up in the sky until I was able to mount them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a different kind of mount.
I guess they had to make the adjustment, because if they give everyone the ability to zip into the sky, suddenly everything will be mounted 24/7.
Yeah,
True.
that's true. I would definitely be doing that.
Good point. Yeah.
I was trying to do that. I thought I was just doing something wrong. I didn't know that it wasn't in there.
I kept thinking that too. I was like, why is this not ever mounting? I'm like, what is happening? And then I saw that Wyvern mount, and I was like, oh, okay, that's cool.
That like zip line mechanic, the hook shot, what is it called? The Wirebug mechanic. That really changes up the game to me in a big way. It's like you're just so mobile, you're so fast now, like kind of scooting around the monster. I really enjoyed it. It feels almost like more like twitchy, more reactive, and more actiony. It's a lot of fun. It adds a dynamic that I think is really fun.
Oh, it was great. Like being halfway across the map and the monster gets downed and you can just zip right over there and you're right there. It's great.
Yeah, I started picking that up a bit. I played offline for a bit, and it started clicking with me on how to like approach monsters with the Wirebug. And that's going to be really cool to get into it. Like playing this demo just makes me so ready for this game. I'm just like, oh my god, I want to play
having
through
your
the
own
base
character
game and level up. Yeah, you know.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it because it's now on the Switch and it's a portable. Like I'm looking forward to being able to just kind of like, whip it out on the couch and start playing with my Monster Hunter while I'm like watching a TV show and just doing a hunt or like grinding or doing something. Like not having it tied to a PC or a console on the big screen gives it so much more flexibility, like the old portable games had. Which is it's really nice. Are you guys gonna stream a lot of this? You think?
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I am conflicted because like obviously I'm going to stream it. I'm excited to stream it and all that. But like this is totally a game where I would do like grab a hunt and then put it down. Do a hunt, put it down. Do a hunt, put it down, with the portable side of it.
Yeah.
Like I could totally see myself just picking it up, doing 15 minutes and then putting it back down and going back to whatever else I was doing at the time. Because I did that in the demo multiple times. It's like, oh, let's do another hunt, try another weapon. And like it felt great mobile. I was surprised.
Yeah, it feels good.
That's where like I started all like PSP, so being able to kind of go handheld again. Like I've always it's funny as well because obviously when World and Iceborne came out, fantastic games, but like Monster Hunter was always my travel game. Like if it was like go to E3, go to this, it's like Monster Hunter would just be the game that's like on my 3DS, on my PSP. Like it would just be the game that you play on the go. So I missed that for a while. So having that back, it's Definitely highly recommend the Hori Split Pad Pro now if you haven't got it, because that is nice for portable gaming.
All right. Yeah.
It's a nice controller. It's a little expensive. It's what, $40?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
But it is a really nice controller. It adds a bit of bulk to your Switch, but if you're using it around the house, like it's fine. If you're going out, like you might want to put the Joy-Cons back on.
Yeah, very cool. I tried most of the weapons. I did notice Greatsword had less forgiving windows as World does. World, I felt like I could shoulder charge through anything so long as like I was ready for that window. This game, Rise, it's like, no. You have to be very precise about your shoulder charge or you're getting screwed. And it kind of...
One thing with that...
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Well, one thing with that, like I think a lot of things they've adjusted like timings and stuff because they want to encourage everyone. Like the new way to play is to be mobile with because like for example I went in with Greatsword with the mindset of like playing before, or even like Sword and Shield. Like I love Sword and Shield. They introduced Perfect Rush in Iceborne, which was like this really cool combo. And in Iceborne you could sneak in that combo anywhere. Like you just as long as you read the monster right, you can sneak it in. In this one, half the time you try and get that combo in and they've moved before you finish it. Because what they intend you to do, like with Greatsword, for example, I went back in with the typical, the usual playstyle. Like, all right, let me set up a true charge slash, tackle through it, and it goes to that. Whereas what you really want to be doing now is, you zip line above a monster and you press ZR because then you go into a plunge. So you stab the sword down. From there, you can then press A to go into a wide slash, and then it goes straight into the final hit of the true charge slash. So already your new flow is now zip, stab, wide slash, boom. And then as soon as that's finished, you use your silk bind and go power sheath, pull yourself away, sheath your weapon, get the power up, and then go and repeat the cycle. So like your flow has changed.
Yeah, this is different. Definitely different.
Playing with the bow is really different because it now has an ability with the Wirebug where you can jump back and it recovers your stamina quicker. So that is so nice because with using a bow, you're constantly dodging to keep your max stacks of your bow damage. So you run out of stamina very quickly. And in World, it just got very expensive because you have to constantly drink dash juice. Constantly. So it's really nice having an inbuilt thing to get your stamina back and keep attacking. There's also something that boosts your attack damage and also acts as like a backflip out of damage. So sometimes if a monster got too close, I'd like do a little backflip away from them, and it really opens it up. Although the moveset is very similar to World, the way we're going to end up playing with all of the weapons is going to be real different.
Definitely.
Hopefully we'll be playing on a new Nintendo Switch Pro, which has had a ton of leaks and rumors in the last couple of weeks. Apparently there is some code in the most recent what do you call it, firmware, and there's been some leaks outside of those kind of like Uncle works at Nintendo kind of leaks, where it's going to have an upgraded processor, a bigger SSD inside, 4K video support, more USB-C ports, and a better 1080p screen, which frankly the Switch needs. That screen is garbage. It's not even as good as the one that came on the PSP. I'm sorry, the PS Vita. Yeah. So that would be awesome. I'd love to see it come out in March, at the same time as Monster Hunter World.
I feel like it might because there was like rumors at first that they would release it to coincide with Zelda, but the newer rumors are saying that Zelda will drop in summer. But I feel like it would make sense to go with Monster Hunter because also historically looking back, I'm pretty sure all the recent Monster Hunter releases I can think of, there was a limited edition console. World got a console.
Oh yeah.
GU got a console. 3DS for Ultimate got a 3DS. It's there's not one for Rise, so it's either there's just not one, or because they're going to be doing it for the Pro and they just haven't revealed the Pro yet, so they can't announce a Monster Hunter console. I don't know. I mean, it's literally been the last 3 games that have had their own consoles.
They did that for the Lite. They had a bunch of right early on with the introduction of the Lite. They had custom consoles for games. So that makes sense, Eric's.
Yeah. And also, when you think about the launch of Switch, they were churning out different color Joy-Cons left, right, and center.
Yeah.
But they've just stopped doing theme stuff for a while. And it's maybe they're also just waiting to start theming the new stuff. I don't know.
True.
Well, if they do make a Pro console, I'd like them to take a look at the design of the Joy-Cons, because those things have been trouble from day one, and they've never really fixed them correctly with the drift on them and the reliability of the wireless connection that they share with the Switch. So it'd be great to get a second look at that. Would you want removable Joy-Cons again if they did a Switch Pro, or would you want it more like the Lite where they're built in?
I still like the removable. I mean, it's weird. Actually, no, it's funny you say that. I've never used them removably. I've never used them. I've never used the removable function to be here's friend, go and play this with a single Joy-Con. Right. I still like the kind of idea of it, but then having said that, I did really like the Switch Lite. So I guess I wouldn't really mind either way, I guess.
Yeah. The only thing I would miss is being able to customize it by putting, something like the Hori split pad on, which is much, it's a much bigger controller.
Personally, I like having the ability to detach them because, let's say one of them breaks or I get some weird drift on it, it's
That's
nice
true.
being able to just go and buy a new Joy-Con if that does happen, as opposed to being locked into your console now is defective, essentially.
Has the controller drift issue moved on to the Switch Lite, or was that only with the detachable Joy-Cons? I don't actually know the answer to that.
I think it was just the Joy-Cons. I don't recall. I mean, I haven't been following it too closely, but I don't recall hearing it on a Lite.
The thing is, any controller, regardless, is going to have a lifespan. Like a clickability 100%. Lifespan on there, and so that's why I usually prefer things that are a little more on the modular side. Either way, I think I'm willing to bet that the Switch Pro will be orders of magnitude harder to get than a PS5 if it comes out in March.
If it comes out, especially with a Monster Hunter Rise version, that thing is going to sell absolutely insane.
So the one caveat to that is I would imagine that Nintendo would be able to make a lot more of them than PlayStation can make of PS5s, because the PlayStation processor is based off of that TSMC not Intel Ryzen processor. That it's basically like every new piece of tech is being made with that thing. So that one foundry that makes them is just like back ordered. Apple's using them, PlayStation's using them, Xbox is using them, AMD Ryzen is using them. So it's just like all those things that are back ordered. Like that's one of the problems with making more consoles. But because Nvidia is making the Tegra Xavier processor for Nintendo, like it shouldn't be held up by that particular problem. So hopefully they can just like pump them out like crazy.
Interesting. Yeah. I hope. But I'm going to try to...
That being said, you can't get a Switch now, so...
Yeah, it's going to be one of those things where you're going to have like 15 websites open and you're going to be looking like a drug addict from so much stress that you're trying to click on all these different freaking, websites trying to order. It's going to be so like just demoralizing when it doesn't, when you don't get your pre-order.
I do, yeah. I mean, definitely. But although having said that, it's a weird one because there's like millions and millions of Switch out there. But I also feel like at the same time, it might be easier to get them in the flip side, because if you compare the numbers, they were saying that the Switch is soon going to be overtaking like PlayStation sales anyway. But on the you kind of think about the mass market, like a lot of people kind of look at Nintendo as a platform like, oh, no, that's Nintendo's for kids and stuff. So I feel like when PS5 and Xbox came out, like even you have like the hardcore gamers, you have the more casual gamers, you have people that are like, all kind of walks of life, like I need a PS5. Whereas I feel like you get fewer people being like, I need a Switch in that respect. But I mean, Switch it's a weird kind of double, because like Switch is huge, and I know loads of people that have got it, but I think that's kind of it's more like a focused.
I don't know. I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, but honestly, I feel like the PS5 side is more of the focused gamer side, and the Switch side is gamers and people who are like, I like to play games every now and then. Maybe I want something a little bit better than my phone.
Maybe.
The Switch is partly
because of the pandemic is big on this, or a big reason for this, but you still can't get a Switch in the US. Like it's like impossible to find them. Like you're not gonna find them at like Best Buy unless you just happen to walk in right when they get a shipment. They're super hard to find even now, and it's that console's 4 years old now, right? 4?
Yeah, true.
Can you believe that?
True, yeah.
4 years ago.
Not really.
Wild.
I guess maybe my view was distorted, because I think of it in the Twitter sphere when you hear they have the angry gamers that are just like Nintendo and PlayStation and Xbox, and they're like they don't want Nintendo. But then outside of Twitter in the real world, then
I mean, my household only has one PS5, one Xbox. However, we have 3 Switches, and if they come out with another one, we'll probably get 3 more.
3 Switch Pros.
Yep.
Because the Switch is, even though both of my kids never play console games, they only play on PC. They both have a Switch Lite, and they both play Nintendo games. Like they both played Animal Crossing.
Mm-hmm.
What's the fighting game for children? With the cute
Smash.
Smash Brothers.
I did not want to say that. I didn't want to say it because I was like, oh no. But I know
violating.
Smash. I know he's talking about Smash.
Yeah, I think it's because it's portable, because it's less expensive, and because it's it's good for children because it's Nintendo. It is it's a very popular console.
Oh dear.
Starting fires left and right, man.
All over the
place. Yo, if a Switch Pro gets announced, I'm going to be nervous until I finally get a pre-order. I'm going to...
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, especially like after this year, it's like I didn't get a pre-order for a new graphics card, And we're 4 months out, and I still can't get one. You know, like
really, Ooh.
It's like I just want. I don't even know if I really want one. Like I'm going over. I go back and forth. I have a 2080 Ti. I'm like, should I just wait until like the 3080 Ti comes out? Like, do I really want to spend money on a 3090? It looks so big and impressive. Like it's very appealing to me.
It does, Briar.
Like the ridiculousness of the 3090 is kind of half of the appeal to it.
After getting
the 3080 Ti is coming out in probably February or March. So that's probably the way to go.
So I was saying in the pre-show that like I got to test out a 3090 because I got to do a thing for Thermaltake for CES this week, and getting to experience the 3090 in 4K with like 100 and 130 FPS on Destiny 2 definitely made me very. I wanted one. I want one bad.
Games at 4K at high FPS is awesome. Like it's just a thing. I'm sorry, it's expensive, it's ridiculous, but it's awesome.
It is.
You know what I've been playing at 4K, probably 12 FPS or 30 FPS is Yakuza Like a Dragon. Have you guys seen this game yet?
Nice.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Watts, this every time I play this game, I'm like, I wish Watts was sitting on the couch right next to me and we were playing this together because it is, this game is all of the most ridiculous stuff from Final Fantasy VII Remake, except just in one game. Like they left out all the other stuff. It is so much fun. It's an RPG like, a traditional RPG is. Like it's got a fighting combat system from like a traditional RPG. They even reference the main character's favorite game is God, I can't remember the name of the game now. What's Dragon Quest? Thank you.
Yeah.
So that it's got like this turn-based combat, but the rest of it is like it's not open world. I would call it like open neighborhood kind of freedom of movement, where you just kind of like explore these neighborhoods and you meet people. And the main character is so goddamn charming. He's like this. He's in the Yakuza, but he's like this. I would say he's like a gangster with a heart of gold, right? Like he wants to be in the Yakuza, but he doesn't want to do bad stuff. He wants to be a hero. Like that's his like goal in life is to be a hero, which is not easy to do when you're a gangster, right? And it's his trials and tribulations and meeting people, and like he's just so damn charming because he overreacts to stuff, but he does it in such a way that you just can't help but get on his side. I gotta say, this game is not normally my type of purchase or type of game that I would get into because I don't like that slow turn-based combat. I don't really like all the talking. Like the talking goes on. You'll not touch a controller in this game for half an hour at a time, often. But it's like playing through like a limited series where it's like you get like 10 episodes of like a limited series, but you fall in love with all the characters. You're just sitting there watching. It's like that, but every once in a while you have to play a little bit of turn-based combat. It's so fun. I can't believe I like this game as much as I do, but I wish I had played it in 2020 because it would have been on my top 10. It would have been on my game of the year list for sure. It's so fun. Like the writing.
I tried to play it. I'll be honest. I didn't get very far with it, but like I literally played the first hour. I think I pressed 2 buttons. And I was like, I've listened to some guy, right? Yeah. And then when I finally got to play, I got sent on a quest to go and get a toilet plunger. And I'm like, this game is not me. I helped a drunk lady up the floor, right? Yeah. I went to get a toilet plunger. I punched one guy. I was like, great. This is an hour of my time? No, I'm out.
In all honesty, and I hate when games do this, and I don't like to justify a game because I think it's a design fault when you have to say this about a game. But you have to get a few hours into the game before it gets going. And I personally think that's a design fault. If you can't hook me in the first hour, like, why should I give you another 3, 4, 5, 6 hours before the game, like, quote unquote, gets good? I think that's a design flaw. But it's true about this game. As you get to know the main character, as you get to know your party, you can't help but fall in love with these very flawed but very funny people. And it is not an action game. It is a game where you are going to put down the controller for long periods of time. And the combat, to me, is funny, but not that interesting. Like, mechanically, it's very simple, like turn-based RPG where you'll select your attack, you'll watch it play out, and you'll do that for all your party members. It's not like there's nothing particularly compelling about it, other than the fact that like some of the like you have a homeless person in your party at one point, and he has several attacks. One is he could throw bird seed at you, and a flock of birds will come and attack you. One is he will belch on you with his alcohol breath, like stuff like that. You know, it's just they lean into it, and it's just everybody, all of the main characters, all the people in my party are just like they're flawed people. They've done bad things. They're not like, you know, they're not the heroes in the traditional aspect, but you can't help the way they're written. You can't help but fall in love with them. They're written so well that you can identify with them as people as opposed to just characters. And I think it makes you fall in love with it in a similar way that I fell in love with Final Fantasy VII Remake, in that even though I'm not necessarily in love with every aspect of the game, the story and the characters are so compelling that I just want to keep playing. I just got to see what's next for these characters, and I love it. Like, I love it. I'm really loving it. It's hard to play sometimes because every time they meet a new character, they have to re-explain exactly what they're doing in detail, which can be a bit a bit much. But if you like take a few days off, it does help because it refreshes you of what exactly you're doing, which is kind of nice. But oh my god, this game is Japanese as fuck, and it's hilarious. Has anybody else checked this out? I know, Eric, you put an hour to it. Watts, have you checked it out yet?
No, it's always one that I've been looking at, and it's one that I've thought of playing, but just trying to find the perfect time to.
I can't imagine streaming this game because it's like it'd be like streaming a TV show, right? It's like you're just watching somebody else talk for long periods of time. So the periods of time where you're doing your own thing are short. You know, like you do a lot of kind of like side questy stuff, but it's very short. And then you get into these long dialogue parts again, where you're basically just watching an episode of a TV show for a half an hour. But the TV show is amazing.
Speaking of games that people, these kind of controversial games that people don't necessarily like as much, right? I played, that was a terrible segue, but anyway, I'm going to talk about a game I played over Christmas regardless. I played Diablo Immortal.
Oh, interesting.
You know, the mobile game that everyone's like, hey, you got phones, right? And everyone's like, no, we don't want this. You know what? It actually plays really well. I actually really enjoyed it. So it's obviously it's a more simple. I mean, I would much rather have Diablo 4.
Sure,
but it's a more simplified version. There's, I think in the alpha at the moment, there's 4 classes. There's Barbarian, Wizard, Demon Hunter, and I forgot the other one. Whatever it is, one of those ones. Monk. That's it. So combat wise, you have like a button that obviously is touchscreen controls. So the typical kind of on your phone, like you use the left to move around, and then the right, you've got like your main attack button, and then you've got 4 buttons fanned around for like your different abilities. It runs and looks really nice. And the interesting thing is that, like, for the most part, it is basically your default Diablo experience. Exactly what you expect. You go out, you get your loot. It's plenty of loot, plenty of cool looking gear. Maybe not as much gear variety as you would get in like the kind of, or at least from what I experienced so far, that you would get in, say, regular Diablo game, in that like a lot of it looks quite similar. But that might just be because it's alpha anyway. But honestly, I really enjoyed it. Like there is this is the thing as well. There is a monetization component to it. But the interesting thing is, it was never pushed in my face to the point where I don't actually know what you can spend real money on. Like normally when you play these kind of mobile games, you get to the point where it's like you can't go any further because you've run out of gems or something like that.
Some sort of energy system.
Exactly right. Yeah, I played through it, and I was honestly, it was never in any like for example, there's a battle pass that obviously you can just like unlock as you're playing through naturally, but at no point was anything forced in my face. So I, to this moment or to this day, still don't know what I can spend money on outside of the fact that like there is a cash shop, and there are some things that I've heard that like where the limits come in, I think is like you can re-roll and recraft things, but then they cost gems. And then when you've run out of the gems for that, then you can start doing that. So that's a little bit shady, because it's like, well, I can pay to re-roll my gear. It's a little bit, but I literally just played it over the holiday because it wasn't even an intention to cover it. Like I just, some of the Diablo team pinged out, they're like, anyone want to try this out? I was like, I'll play it. And then I literally just played it just for fun. And I found myself, it was quite good though, because I did it in sort of like a bite-sized way. Like I'd log on most days for about 45 minutes, an hour. I'd kind of run through, do a few levels, do like a dungeon, complete that story segment, get to a new map, and be like, all right, I'll play tomorrow. Log on, get my daily reward. But I actually quite enjoyed it. Like, you know, I mean, for like a kind of a, you know, I know you can play Diablo 3 on Switch for like a portable Diablo experience, but for something that is like 100% portable, like literally in your pocket, like I can just pull it out and be like, I'm gonna get my Diablo fix. It plays quite well.
That's cool. That's good to hear. Actually, I've been curious about it. Obviously, again, I'd like a Diablo 4 as well. But if there's a good mobile phone version of Diablo that maybe hopefully they have controller support in the future, if it doesn't already have it.
I would like it if they, it doesn't at the moment, but I would like it if they,
Yeah, that would, like, if I could put that on the iPad, like jump on, play like 15 minutes worth, something like that. That would be amazing. You know, I've kind of been doing that with Genshin here. Like my dailies, I hop on, I play like 20, 30 minutes, spend some resin, do the dailies, and like had my Genshin fill, you know? Is there an ETA on when that's
Diablo?
Do we know yet when it's like officially coming out?
Not sure actually. Yeah, no, I think the alpha finishes end of this month.
It's a closed alpha, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So they don't have a release date yet. That game seems like it's perfect to hook in what I would say hardcore gamers, but I think it's a shitty term. But like that crew into that style of game, right? It's not in the style of game. I'm not talking about the style of game like Diablo. I'm talking about the style of game like the you know, mobile pay as you go, pay for stuff kind of game. It seems like it's like the perfect opportunity to like make that transition. And that scares the hell out of me. Like it's like because it is Diablo, a game that I have much love for. But it is trying to introduce these things that I have much hate for, these, you know, pay to play kind of aspects and this microtransaction aspect and this like gem where you have to earn more gems to play longer in a day and like all of that stuff that I really am resistant to. I really don't want to interact with at all. But I do want to play Diablo because I was a fan of the original Diablo games. I was even a fan of Diablo 3. This is concerning to me. It's scary to me in a way that I can't quite articulate.
Fair.
You know, like, and I'm sure it's fun. But I don't want to get hooked on it. I don't want to get hooked on that line.
Yeah.
You know, pull out your phone, Diablo time. Be like, what have I done with my day? I spent 8 hours playing Diablo. Yeah.
In some way, Blizzard has to feel like a little mad that they didn't kind of get here first too, because so many games use that Diablo loot system to hook you in, right? It's like that is the, you know, that in World of Warcraft are like the originators of that loot system that almost every game uses now. You know, like I think Destiny really kind of refined it, and now everything feels like it's got Destiny's loot system, but that loot system very much came from Blizzard, right?
Yep.
Definitely.
And so I wonder what, like, you know, obviously Blizzard isn't the same company that they were when even Diablo 3 came out. There's been a lot of like notable high profile people leaving that studio. But they still have those properties and they still like money.
Yes, they do.
Oh, really interesting. They're owned by Activision, or they're like, it's Blizzard Activision, right? Is there for some reason I remember like there being a connection to Tencent. Am I imagining that, or is that?
Yeah, I think it's Tencent. Yeah, I think because the studio that's actually making Diablo Immortal is like a Chinese studio.
So it's not even Blizzard proper.
I don't think so. No.
So I wonder. Well, now I don't even wonder. Now I can see there's a direct line between that and Tencent. Which is even more concerning.
They're going to be creating like the Chinese market for mobile games is absolutely insane. So having a Chinese company take your game and turn it into a mobile version of your game is probably very smart and the way to go, because they're going to put in all the good stuff and the bad stuff that hooks people and makes a lot of money.
It wasn't the Tencent thing because they wanted to get Overwatch over there. In order to do that, in order to have your company over in China, you have to have like a Chinese company.
Don't they?
Yeah, they have to have a 10% stake in it in order to do business in China. So I think that's the reason why it was there to begin with. But they probably, they've clearly expanded and done more stuff since it's been successful. So.
Yep, you want your game in China, you gotta let the Chinese in on some of that good stuff.
You gotta cut them in 10%, otherwise, nah. You get
Is that why it's called Tencent? We're like, we're gonna make a company just to get the 10% of every overseas company.
That's right. We only take 10% of the profits, but we take all the data.
That's true.
Oh my gosh.
It all makes sense.
It's sort of a side tangent, because it kind of relates. Not really. Cheating games, game cheating hacks.
It's related via Tencent.
Tencent, Valor, Riot Games, Chinese-owned properties, that type of thing.
Yeah. So Riot and Bungie are teaming up to sue Valorant and Destiny 2 cheat makers. So the complaint was filed on Friday in a California court. So this is the cheating software that Bungie had their lawyers do a cease and desist against. And they were like, oh, yeah, we're totally going to stop.
Yeah, man. Yeah, totally. Sure. Yeah. Titans rule. Yeah, okay, man.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. Turns out they did not stop selling the thing. Of course not. The place is called Gator Cheats. They still sell and distribute cheating software through website, but also mail, Discord, and telegrams, which we learned. I don't get it, but
how do you get it?
Is there an app called Telegram? Please tell me there's an app called Telegram. Please tell me they're not.
Wait,
there's not some dude going.
Oh, there is a Telegram. Oh, Telegram Messenger. Oh, okay, yeah. I remember hearing about this. Telegram is like one of the. It's kind of like WhatsApp, I believe, but it's just like
own app?
Very, very, very secure. Like very secure. So you can't find out anything of what people are doing through that app.
Had no idea.
So the software provided is specifically designed to go undetected by Riot and Bungie anti-cheat technology. Now Riot has like that super invasive Vanguard cheat technology. So it's going undetected by that, which just shows you like you can have the best, most invasive anti-cheat in the world and someone's going to make something to go around it. The access to the cheating software ranges from $90 per month up to $500 for lifetime access.
Oh, that's that price you can't afford not to cheat.
Can't imagine like having that. I mean, if you're just like loaded, right?
For just the price of a PS5, you can cheat for life.
Yeah,
makes that Game Genie seem like a bargain now.
True.
God, that is crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy, and their whole thing with taking them to court, of course, is that this can cost tens of hundreds or thousands of dollars from pushing people out of the game. Because no one wants to play against the cheaters, tarnishing reputation.
Yep.
People are like, oh, well, I would go play ranked, but I don't want to because it's just filled with cheaters in the upper levels. So what's the point?
Yeah, that's 100% how I feel about it. I haven't played in a Crucible in a long time because I just have I play on PC mainly, and I have no interest in getting in there with a bunch of cheaters. And it doesn't even matter if I'm in a lobby with cheaters. As soon as somebody shoots me in the face, I just assume they're cheating because I know there's cheaters in there.
Yep.
True.
It's definitely compounded.
I could possibly die.
Yeah. It's compounded the Crucible, the Destiny Crucible experience problem for sure. Because just like you said, it's really tough to know what is legit and what's just network latency. And then what's cheating and all that. And at that point, when you have a game of stakes, you're essentially just questioning whether things are legit all the time. Or you get to a point where you feel that way.
And they have like a little thing that shows you some pages of what they're going to trial for, and it just says here so it's Riot Games and Bungie versus the plaintiffs, which are Cameron Santos, aka Gator Cheats, complaint for trafficking in circumvention devices intentional interference with contractual relations, and unfair competition. And there's demand for jury trial.
Jury trial.
So there's 24 pages here that you can look at that goes into the entire thing, which is very
I'm going to
interesting.
skip it.
How spanked is Cameron going to get? That's the question.
What they should do is
They're going for millions of dollars.
Ooh.
So yeah, it says it said that, where did it say the millions? I think it was here. Okay, yeah, they said that the damages may amount to millions of dollars in harm caused to the company. So I'm sure they'll be going for millions of dollars.
Yeah.
It's of moolah.
Now what they should do, right? They should bring back the old from like the olden days. They should bring back the cheat manuals that they just give you with games, right? And sell them with all the games, and then you won't need to buy the cheats because Destiny will come with a little manual. It'll be like, you want yellow horn, just press up, down, triangle, circle, triangle, circle. There you go.
There, easy.
So we'll see what happens with that.
Do they still make those like paperback guides to games like Prima and like Brady Games? Are those companies still around, or did they go out of business?
So Prima went out of business. They do still do guides, like you know, you can buy one for like Cyberpunk and stuff. So yeah, the guide stuff does still exist. They're not as prevalent as they used to be, but yeah.
Did you guys ever buy those?
I do.
I did.
I bought the Cyberpunk one so I can make videos out of it because the guide tells you everything is.
That's funny. That's smart, actually.
Yeah.
And cut down on the research needed now.
I used to buy them for games like Fallout 4 or Fallout 3, I guess it was at the time. Just for that reason. It tells you exactly where all the cool stuff is. But I also used to buy it for like Call of Duty because it would show you like an overhead view of the Call of Duty multiplayer maps. And that helped me visualize in my head much faster. Like, what is this map all about? Where are the good places to go?
Yeah. I remember when I bought the one for, I bought the Breath of the Wild one just a collector's thing, but I was like, I remember, you remember when Breath of the Wild came out, there was like the Crocs you could discover. There were like 900.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to make a guide to find them all. And I had this map.
900.
Right. And I started breaking down my zones. So I did 2 zones and I was like, even with a map telling me where all of them are, this is so long. And I was like, I gave up. But obviously I started the series like, I'm going to tell you where to find all the Crocs. 60 Crocs later, there are no more videos.
I would say that's a wise use of time.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's people who found them all, right? I mean, somebody did
probably
made the guide.
All you do is you get a golden poo at the end, so you don't really, it's not really worth it.
I really, really quick. So Fran just posted something in our Twitter chat that I just want to bring up for Briar's sake, real quick.
Ooh, is this something about the Dreamcast? I know that they're
totally
some new Atomic Wave games are coming out for Dreamcast. I can't wait to play those.
Crocs had the best year of sales in 2020. Everyone's wearing them. Crocs' bittersweet moment has arrived in the midst of a global pandemic. The company behind the foam clog, derided by many for being ugly, expects 2020 to be a record sales year.
How could you say something so beautiful as this
it's
fashionable foam footwear?
It's a fashion statement.
I would say so. I don't know if it's a statement you want to make, but it's one I do.
So Briar's no longer going to be a hipster in the shoe department. He is the trendsetter, I guess you could say.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Are you going to swap it out to like actual clogs?
It's like wooden clogs?
Yeah.
If it's not made by a artisan clog maker in the Netherlands, I don't want anything to do with it.
Maybe they'll start sponsoring creators with this news.
Oh, yeah.
They should make Croc gaming gear, like Croc wrist rests, like Croc foam wrist rests.
Croc chair.
Oh my.
Croc chair. Oh my
Croc
god, it'd be so supportive.
It'd be so comfy.
He'd be like,
that would be the best chair ever.
It's like I'm gaming on clouds.
You remember how like Nerf had a line of gaming stuff at one point? Like you could buy like a case for your 3DS or like your PlayStation 3 controller. I don't know if they still make any of that stuff, but that stuff was super comfy.
I'm sure this would be very comfy.
Yeah. I do like that gaming chair though. Crocs gaming chair? That's a good idea.
It's got to be butt ugly. Just like absolutely hideous looking.
It has to look like
as
Crocs.
Opposed to every other gaming chair.
got a point.
which are subtly styled.
It'll be very breathable with all the holes in it as well.
It will be very
Right? Yeah,
breathable.
man.
Yeah.
So if those farts flow right through, they're not going to stick to croc material. There's no cloth for your farts to stick to.
Oh, man.
Into the wind.
Oh my
Through the
god.
hole.
In actual gaming news, it was very exciting that happened today. Square Enix has trademarked Ever Crisis and the First Soldier in Japan.
Shoulder,
Is that
shoulder.
is that one name to a game?
No, it looks
That's
like this
two
would
games?
be two different ones.
Okay.
So the article says that the first soldier would be Sephiroth.
Okay.
And then Ever Crisis could be a Crisis Core remake. It
Oh.
could be like the extension. Maybe they're like putting Crisis Core with Final Fantasy VII Remake and like putting it all together. Maybe.
Crisis Core
Who
was the
knows?
one that came out for the PSP and was about that other dude who wasn't Cloud, or who was originally Cloud.
The real Cloud.
The real Cloud, right? Is that the one I'm thinking of? Crisis Core?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
which is
interesting.
it's very interesting because the end of Final Fantasy VII Remake. So
Which
it
I totally
Oh.
do understand.
Yeah.
well we saw
Clicked
saw
perfectly.
Zack there. So if Crisis Core is about Zack and they just trademarked something called Ever Crisis, and then we saw Zack at the end of the Final Fantasy VII Remake, this could totally
You know what they're doing, right?
totally be-
This is a tactic because they're like, you know what? We're nowhere near getting ready for part 2. So we'll stall it, right? We'll give them Final Fantasy 16 first, then we'll give them
Yeah.
Crisis Core, then we'll give them this other one, then hopefully they'll forget about it. And if they haven't, then we might have just finished part 2 by that time. We're not seeing part 2 for another
They can
5 years, I'm telling you.
They can finally
could
release
be.
it for a PS6.
It'll come at the end of the generation, right? Because it'll come at the end of PS5, right? We'll have it, and we'll be like, I wish they released this on the PS6 because there'll be another skybox that looks janky, and they'll be like, oh no, and then PS6 will come out, and we'll have the same discussion, and then it's going to be one a generation. It's going to happen.
The amount of talk there was about Final Fantasy VII Remake makes me think that a lot of people played it. Like, I don't know what the sales numbers were for that, but like to me, I feel like they must be high because everybody was talking about that game. Like, did it sell super well, or does anybody know? Can we look that up super quick? Because, like,
sure.
good lord, like if I was Square Enix, I would be all over. Like, that would be my priority right now. Is be making this second
especially
one of that.
with what they did, because it wasn't just a straight remake. They introduced new elements where
Yeah.
at this point we don't know where the Final Fantasy VII Remake story is gonna go.
Yeah, but like every time a new
5 million copies sold worldwide.
really, that doesn't seem as high as I would have suspected. Like every time a Final Fantasy game comes out, obviously it's a big event, but like somehow the conversation about this was just so prevalent that I thought that it must have sold like much better than your average, like Final Fantasy 15, for instance.
Yeah, no, the last update was end of last year's kind of time, and it was just like in August it broke 5 million sales. So I'm not sure what it is at now.
I wonder
okay.
what Final Fantasy 15 sold compared to Final Fantasy 7 Remake.
That's
That'd
a
be
good question.
interesting.
Yeah.
What does a new Final Fantasy do as with the
Final
Okay.
Fantasy
Classic.
15 also came out on multi-platform,
That's true. Yeah.
which is going to help
By
the sales.
October 2019, for Final Fantasy 15 has sold over 8.9 million copies worldwide.
Okay. Wow. So it sold a lot better.
Interesting.
Yeah, I guess it's still pretty close, I guess, considering that it's one platform versus all the platforms.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It could be maybe a tentative approach because people knew that it was going to be split up into multiple, or like it split
True.
into, like episodic. So
Yeah.
maybe the initial adoption for some fans were kind of like, I'll wait until it actually has everything.
There might be
Possibly, I
a
don't know.
bias here for me personally because after I saw that ending, I just like I was seeking out like any media to help me understand what I
Yeah.
had just seen. So
Mhm.
I might have just like gone out of my way as opposed to Final 15, which I didn't care about at all. So obviously the media, it's like when you buy a new car and you see your car all the time, but you never saw one before. You know, like when you're looking for something, you get to see it all over the place. But when you're not, like Final Fantasy 15, I didn't care about the discourse for it because I didn't care about the game. So that's might be why I have this impression that
I think also 15 might have sold well as well because remember that 15 was that interesting thing where it was like, wait, was it 15? Okay, no, it was 15. Yeah, 15 was the interesting one where you remember like for the longest time it was called Final Fantasy Versus 13. It had that epic trailer with Noctis like diving down the building and like a million blades around him.
Yeah,
and then it took like 12 years to come out, and then it was called Final Fantasy 15. So I feel like a lot of the time there was a lot of build up for that. I do also wonder. For games like Final Fantasy VII Remake, I wonder whether for the diehard fans, they're like, I'm there regardless, right? But I guess you forget that like a lot of like the diehard fans make up probably like a very small portion of the sales numbers in the grand scheme of things. And I wonder whether for like the masses, seeing Remake in the title, it's probably like, oh, this isn't even a new game. Like I'd be interested to sort of see the science behind that. Like if you were like, this
Very
game
true.
is better, but this one's called Final Fantasy 15, this one's called 7 Remake, you'd be like, well, that's got to be the cool
and
one,
it's going to be episodic.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see like console exclusivity, the typical gamer might not being connecting the dots of what that really means for remake and episodes and all that could have affected those type of sales numbers versus
multi-platform.
Like
all of that.
Because I agree, I played 15 and I beat it and I was like, all right. But 7, I was like, I have so many emotions going through me right now. Oh my god, this is amazing.
A phenomenal experience. From it being silly to being epic, it was just a full experience of everything. It was great.
Yeah.
It was joyous, I would say.
Yep.
God, there was one more piece of news I wanted to talk about, but I forgot about it once we started to talk about Final Fantasy. Oh well. I'm sure it wasn't that important.
I think we're
we're getting towards the end. There's a game that I have my eye on that's coming out at the end of January.
Hitman 3?
Yes.
No, the Medium.
Oh, Medium's
wrong answer.
The Medium.
Yeah, we saw this at E3, right? They showed.
Yeah. It's
spooky.
The reason why I'm super interested in it is because it's only on next gen. So it's not trying to deal with last gen at all.
Is it
and
PS5
they're rendering
and Xbox, or is it on one or the other?
It's Xbox and PC.
Oh.
Yeah. So and this is they render two worlds. Right? I don't know. All I know is that the person who made the music for Silent Hill is making the music for this game.
Okay, cool.
But they render two worlds at the exact same time, the spirit realm and then like the normal realm, and you can switch between them whenever the hell you want. So that's really interesting to me to see how they do that with the next gen and how that plays and how that feels.
Yeah.
And recently they put out 14 minutes of gameplay of the Medium, and they actually use like kind of an updated version of that classic static camera from Resident Evil, the early Resident Evils and stuff.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
So it's not like totally fixed. Sometimes it will follow the character, but it's got that whole vibe
like
of
on
early
rails?
Resident Evils. Yeah.
You just sold me on this game.
Cool. It's very interesting. I didn't expect it at all because I was like, obviously it's a next gen game. I saw the camera and I was like, it's like early horror action game camera right there, which is
I can't go back to those old ones because of that. That's the tank controls and the fixed camera, like the PS1 games, even like Code Veronica on the Dreamcast. I can't really go back to. It just feels so archaic and it's like so hard to control the characters. So like sloppy.
That's another reason I'm interested in the game, because it's like an updated version of that camera. So if you check out the 14 minutes of gameplay, you'll kind of see what I mean, where it's the camera will move sometimes, it'll be static some other times. And switching between spirit realm and normal realm whenever you want. And then you see certain stuff in the spirit realm, but you don't see them in the normal one. And there's like paths that you can go. So there'll be stairs that are blocked in the normal world because it's current. And then the spirit world's kind of living in the past. So you have access to those stairs.
So basically, it's a link between worlds.
I was gonna say.
Yeah. Well, very spooky.
Imagine Zelda, but not Zelda.
Spooky. Imagine Zelda, but everything's very scary.
I mean, I'm not as excited about it as Hitman 3, but I'm excited about it.
It's gonna be awesome.
Wait, so when does Medium come out again? You said end of the month?
It's January 28th, I believe.
Nice. I'm looking forward to that. When does Hitman come out?
20th.
Oh, it's 20th or 21st. One of those ones. Yeah.
I don't know exactly. It's
Wow.
one of those two.
You got a
Yeah.
week? That's
Some
enough time to
stuff.
finish a Hitman game?
Yeah, some stuff's
No,
coming
it's
up.
not.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, and it's going to be on Game Pass. So
Oh,
you
nice.
don't even have to buy it.
Sold.
Just download it.
Easy.
That's my
right?
favorite price. Free. I wonder if Hitman's going on Game Pass.
True.
Maybe.
That's
I
a
had chance to play
multi-platform game.
The Dubai stage over Christmas.
Mhm.
It's cool. I mean, it's it's Hitman, right? It's like what you know is already there's nothing really to tell you. It's just like it's more
That's
of what
fine.
you like. So
Yeah.
that's all I need, right? Literally all I need. It was good though.
I really like streaming Hitman, so I'm definitely going to stream that game. It's just the chaos that happens in that game
Yeah.
is just so funny to me.
Was
I
I
there a
also like playing
briefcase?
that game with my wife, which my wife is not a gamer, but she likes Hitman, and she is scary good at it.
Eric's, was there a briefcase in the level you played?
Maybe. I didn't remember it in. I didn't encounter it personally, but there were. I only got a chance to go through like the stage like once, so I haven't kind of gone back and done like the different equipment things. So I didn't get to test the tracking briefcase, unfortunately. But I
Definitely need that. Alien technology briefcase is important.
But you know what? Hitman also gave me a wake up call as to how bad my short term memory really is. Right? I kid you not. I was standing silently behind a box, right? And one security guard was like, he was talking to someone on the phone. He's like, don't forget to tell them that the security code is like 9364. I literally went through one door, got to the security pad, was like, wait, what was it? I was like, oh no, are you serious? And
That's the perk of streaming. 'Cause you just like chat. Remember that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just keep
Word.
typing it until we get there.
And
because I
then
was trying to
chat-
record a
chat-
video,
Types in 4 random numbers.
Yeah.
Everybody's different.
6969.
but because I was recording a video, I couldn't mess with the recording and go backwards, so I just couldn't even put the keypad in. So I had to go and do it a different way. I was like, literally in the space of 10 seconds, I forgot the number. I was like, what the hell?
I was gonna
The
say,
first Hitman game.
you were playing through the Elgato thing. You could have rewound
There you
real
go.
quick.
You that little bit of lag
Oh,
got
no.
you.
This is a PC game, so I was playing in Shadowplay. So I was playing. Also, I've upgraded my setup now, right? You guys will be pleased to hear, right? You know, for the longest time, I was on those crisp 1080p monitors.
Yeah.
I've now upgraded to a 4K monitor. A
Oh,
Predator.
sweet.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Predator. And I also switched over to the new PC now, so now I'm on the 3080.
Oh,
Congrats.
nice.
Hell yeah.
So I'm in the new age. I tell you, right, I wasn't ready for it. I was not prepared for how much space I have on this 4K screen. So much so when I first booted up Monster Hunter Rise and opened up the preview window and went full screen, I was like, I can see the pixels. I don't like it.
Okay, we need to get you to stop playing through the previous screen. To fully enjoy your new 4K monitor, you have to stop it.
I love it though. It's great.
Did you try editing a video on the 4K monitor?
Oh, I love it. I love
Isn't
it.
that
I've never had so
amazing?
much space.
When you
It's
go from
incredible.
1080p to 4K for editing, it's like I can breathe, I can relax.
Timeline. I'm like, I can see everything.
Yeah, you can see your
It's
timeline, right? Yeah.
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 Yeah, it's really nice.
I love it. It's glorious.
All right.
I upgraded to a 48-inch as my main monitor, and I have been loving it. It is
Nice.
outstanding. They actually just announced. I think it's an Asus Predator that got announced, an HDMI 2.1 monitor. It's the first monitor that's going to support HDMI 2.1, 4K, 120 hertz.
Ooh.
It's going to cost $899, I believe. I think that was correct.
A bargain.
It's a 28-inch monitor. I mean, it's expensive, but it's the first one that's going to support
Yeah.
4K 120 hertz over HDMI 2.1. So, if you're looking at a next-gen console and you want to enjoy it on a monitor
You
at
got
that
an
price,
extra
I mean, you can get a TV
$900.
that's about 3 times as big.
4K 120 though. That's really, really nice.
Oh,
Yeah, it is nice.
there's some hot off the presses 6 minutes ago news coming from the
Ooh.
Sony conference.
Conference.
Well, the the CES says SNES PS5 video thing that they did. So they've updated some PlayStation release dates for games. So Uncharted 4 and The Last of Us Part 2 footage captured on PS4, other gameplay is captured on PS5, so you can go and watch it all when you go take a look. So Ratchet & Clank coming 2021.
Nice.
That's it. Horizon Forbidden West coming 2021.
Nice.
Returnal coming 3/19/21. So March 19th.
Returnal is that one weird one with like the moon and the kid and stuff?
Returnal, yeah, it's that that's the third person shooter, right? With the it's like a what's it called? A roguelite. So it's like built into the story that you're like fighting and then you die and it's built into the story as a roguelite.
You lost me at roguelite.
Really cool. What? They're so fun.
So sick of them.
They're so fun. This is a third person action shooter.
Mm-hmm.
It looks very interesting. Pragmata coming in 2023. God damn. Solar Ash June 2021. Kenna Bridge of Spirits March 2021.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
So excited for that game.
Oh,
March.
No, please don't drop it. Please don't drop it.
Oh, it's gonna come same day as Monster Hunter Rise.
It's gonna be the same day. We're gonna.
I hope it's early. I hope it's like early
I hope
March.
it's early March.
Yeah.
Maybe we could tweet at them and say, please, can you make it?
I'm gonna do that right now.
Stray is coming October 2021, which
That's
is
the
that
cat
cat
one?
game.
Yes.
Cat game. Yep.
October.
Ghostwire Tokyo also coming out October 2021.
Yeah.
Little Devil Inside July 2021. Project Athia January 2022.
Project Athia is what?
It's the one. So they showed a little bit of gameplay at the whole E3 timeline, and it was the one that graphically looked phenomenal. And she like used powers to make something like wood grow or something.
Okay.
It's really cool. It's being made by Square Enix. There's actually someone that I know who worked at Bungie and made all the original Halo games, moved to Japan to work at Square Enix, and he's working on that game.
Interesting.
So, and then of course Hitman 3, January 2021.
Nice.
Yeah, hot off the presses, guys. We got some release dates.
That's a pretty full year then for PlayStation. PlayStation 5. Like there's like throughout the year there's going to be stuff to play.
Yep.
I know a lot of people are experiencing that like new console kind of doldrum where I got the new console, I played all the launch games that I cared about and now I've got nothing to play on it. So at least there's stuff to look forward to as early as March.
Mm-hmm.
But they did say that Ragnarok should be coming this year as well, but we have not.
Yeah, we haven't got an updated date.
They didn't mention it,
unfortunately. No mention of it. But yeah, Returnal. Just in case anyone didn't know what Returnal was, it is the weird space game that you saw with the lady, I think. Because it's after crash landing on the shape-shifting world, Celine must search through the barren landscape of an ancient civilization for her escape. Isolated and alone, she finds herself fighting tooth and nail for survival again and again. She's defeated, forced to restart her journey every time she dies. So it's kind of like what Hades did that I thought was really interesting for roguelites, was putting the whole fact that you are dying and coming back into the story and the core of the story. So I'm excited to see more games of that genre do that, because that's what this game is they've baked that into the actual story.
Cool.
And it looks pretty cool, man. I don't know. It looks pretty nice.
Yeah, the press
PS5
stuff
exclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be interested in checking
And
that out.
they make use of the adaptive triggers like perfectly
Nice.
in this game as well. So that's very exciting.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think that's our first episode of 2021 of SideQuest.
That is it.
Can you believe that we were only talking about Bean Dad a week ago? Like 2021, man, is fucking cooking already. There's a lot of shit going, man. Whew.
Yes.
True.
Yep. Thank you very much for hanging out, watching, listening, sharing and the laughs and the news and all the stuff. Shout out to our Patreon members for supporting the show and also our live Twitch subs as well. And thanks to everyone hanging out live also. If you want to find more of me, you can talk to me at Teft on Twitter and catch my streams, twitch.tv/TeftyTeft. My schedule is all wackadoo right now because I've been doing video projects. And that's, as it is right now.
Tefty's been getting paid.
paid.
I mean, there might be money.
3090s just dropping from the sky.
So yeah, 3090.
I wish.
In 3090.
I wish I could keep those
3090 juice to wash his beard every morning.
He's got coasters made out of 3090s. He's just setting his drinks down.
Yeah.
Cold drinks, just sweating right into that circuitry.
Yeah, I only wash my face with water that's been strained through 3090 radiators.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Amazing.
As one should.
I am Miss 5000 Watts. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Just look for Miss 5000 Watts. And tomorrow, the lady I've been waiting forever is coming out in Genshin called Ganyu at 3 p.m. So we're definitely going to be pulling for her until I'm broke or she comes home. One or the other.
Ganyu, pull it in time.
Yes.
Hey, and on that segue, I'll say you can find me over on Twitter if you want some more great quality puns, or YouTube if you want some more kind of stuff. Just search Arix Gaming or Arix. That's it.
I'm Briar Rabbit. You can find me on Twitter at the Briar Rabbit. Also, I think I'll be doing another Dreamcast stream. I just got a new Dreamcast controller in the mail today that I can't wait to check out. So I'll probably be playing some more Power Stone, getting my Wang Tang on. So look for that soon. And then Hitman. I can't wait for Hitman 3 to come out.
Nice. That's the show. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Exciting.
We'll see you next week. And we'll see you for DCP this week as well. Bye, guys.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. We're doing a retro slot tomorrow, too. So tune in for that. We're talking about Castlevania, the original Castlevania. That'll be a ton of fun with Jay Sniperton.
Awesome. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
See you later.